exclude button, and in the exclude option type in stuff like Wish, AliExpress, and dropshipping. This way you're not targeting people who know what dropshipping is, and you're also not targeting people who know that they can get that product for cheaper on Wish or AliExpress. So if you have a good product, a good website, and a good advertisement, you absolutely do not have to get complex with your strategy. You can just lay it all out for Facebook, and Facebook is going to do the optimization a lot better than you. However, some people don't have a good website and a good advertisement, so they try to make up for what's lacking with a very complex Facebook ad strategy. However, I really don't see a necessity in that. I've spent over $300,000 in this year alone on Facebook ads, and this is the only strategy that I use. This is as complex as I get. And I mean, it works. I'm profitable with it and I'm making money with it. So that's all I have to say about Facebook ads. That's literally what I personally do to my dropshipping stores and how I market them through Facebook ads. I know I mentioned my lookalike audience strategy in the last module, but let's go over how to actually set them up, since there has been a Facebook update since I filmed the last module, and it's now easier than ever to set these up. You don't have to create a custom audience and then make a lookalike audience off that custom audience. You can now go directly into lookalike. So here we are in one of my ad managers. To get to the audience section of Facebook ads, what you want to do is hit this button up here and just hit audiences. This is our earning store, so I already have a lot of lookalike audiences here, but to create a new one, all you have to do is press create audience, lookalike audience. Then you want to go ahead and set up a source, which is basically what the lookalike audience is going to be based off. So when you click on this, you're going to see your Facebook pixel here. So you want to click that. The second tab pops up and it recommends that you create a lookalike audiences of purchases, which is what you should do in the very beginning. But once you're ready to get into other lookalike audiences and you want to kind of expand, you can head on over to this option. And then here you can create lookalike audiences based on people who initiated a checkout, clicked add to cart, added payment info. The reason why these events right here are also very powerful is because there's a lot more people in these events than there is in the purchase event. There's obviously a lot more people who clicked add to cart on your website than there are people who actually checked out. So Facebook has a lot more data to work with when you choose one of these audiences, so it's definitely something worth experimenting with. But the purchase event is going to be your highest quality audience. Then down here you can experiment with the audience size, so it goes from 1% all the way up to 10%. So 1% is going to be your most narrow audience. It's going to be the audience that has the least amount of people, but these people are the ones that look the most alike to whatever event you chose here. So in this case, this would be the people that are incredibly similar to the people who actually purchased from your website. And then when you scroll over to 10%, this is going to be a much bigger audience. So every single one of these people in this huge 10% audience isn't going to be as similar to the people who purchased from your website as the 1% people, but they still have a lot in common, and it's worth it to test it out. You can test out this huge audience, and you can also go in from the least end here and scroll that up, so you can test out a 7 to 10% audience. So you can play around with these percentages to create a lot of different lookalike audiences as well as the events. So you can choose add to cart, 2 to 4%, and that's going to be a new lookalike audience. But just as an example, you can press purchase, the most basic one is 0 to 2%, and then hit create audience. It'll probably take around 24 hours for that audience to be ready, but once Facebook tells you that it's ready, you can go ahead and start targeting these people. So now when you create an ad set and you're selecting who to target, which is demographic, instead of choosing, let's say, dogs or dog lovers or cat lovers or whatever, you're going to choose this custom audience that you just created. But the big thing to realize here is that you want to get into lookalike audiences once you already have a lot of sales. I'd say like 300 to 500 orders. But even once you start making money with lookalike audiences, that doesn't mean that you should stop with the regular targeting. You still want to be finding new interests. That way you scale further horizontally, and you'll also have new people in these lookalike audiences, since these audiences do get updated. One of the biggest questions I got after people went through the full website build actually had to do with a header, so I want to elaborate and show you guys a possible way you can go about that. So here I am on a hypothetical store selling this mug. Name of the store is Funky Mug. So what I can do is go to a website called 1001fonts.com, and once you're here in this text bar, you can type in what you want your header to say. So in my case, it would be Funky Mugs, the name of the store. Hit enter. And now you can view thousands of fonts that you could potentially use for your header. You can scroll through them, find the one you'd like to use. You can filter through particular types of fonts up here. Let's say I want to go with a modern one. Let's see what they have for modern. Okay, just hypothetically, let's use this one as an example. I can click on it. There's variations of the font, so I kind of like this italicized one. I would then go up here, make the font size a little bigger so that it'd be better quality. And then next to the size, I can choose the color. So let's say I want to go with some sort of green color. There you go. I then can go ahead and save this image as a PNG image, save. And then you can head back to your website, find the header section, and for the logo, you can put in the image that you just downloaded. So let's go ahead and hit change, then go ahead and drag that image into here. And there you go. Now you have that as your header. However, we're going to go a step further, hit select, and then change the size of the logo. As you can see, it's a little small, it's a little funky looking. Change the width over here to, let's say, 450. It's gonna look a little more proportional, and you can play around with that until you find your desired size. So I don't know, that maybe that's a little too big, you can go with 300. And the other cool thing about this 1001 Fonts website is that all the fonts you end up downloading are actually already in PNG transparent format, which means that the background is removed. So if you end up switching the background of your header to a different color, it's already transparent. There's not going to be a white box around it. But anyways, that's that. Let's move on to the next section.